Okay, I think we're on the. I think we're on, Ian. I think it's working.
We're live.
It says it's
Okay,
broadcasting.
great. We're, we're
Oh
firmly there.
man,
You see, you're in some sort of hideout, are you? It looks like you're hiding out in some attic.
I am. I'm sleeping. It's a friend of mine's sister's house. They're having a midsummer. It's midsummer here in Finland, which is
And
basically the summer solstice day, and everybody here is gonna just drink their asses off for the next 3 days.
out for 3 days.
It's a combination. It's a
Uh-huh,
combination of drinking. There's some eating
uh-huh.
and sauna.
Oh, excellent.
I've been in the sauna like 5 times today. I think I've lost like 5 pounds.
I suppose it helps you sweat
I,
out.
I'm I'm I don't know what it is, huh?
Does it help you sweat out the alcohol? What's the attraction of the sauna?
It's no, they just do the saunas anyways.
Ah,
They're like religious about saunas, but apparently during the midsummer, it's a big part of the tradition. You sauna and like these people, they have a sauna tent right on the river by their house. So you literally sit in the sauna for like 10 minutes, however long you can take it, because it's hotter than shit.
uh-huh.
And then you dive into the river and you swim to cool off.
Uh-huh.
And then you go back into the sauna tent for another 5, 10 minutes. I mean, whatever it is.
It's Finland, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know
So
what to think of it.
it's yeah, but like now all the people in the neighborhood are starting to gather up around there, and everybody is drunk. Everybody is completely wasted, and it's just the beginning. They're gonna do this. I mean, I'm going to Riga tomorrow, so I have to actually get some sleep tonight. But the
Uh,
idea for Midsummer is you do it through the whole fucking weekend. Yeah. So
you're
I'm
happy.
only gonna get like a sliver of it
Uh-huh.
compared to what these guys are doing.
You're happy to get out of there, probably.
Well, it's fun. I mean, I'm definitely having a good time, and it's I there was actually another fiesta I was supposed to go to, but I didn't know how I was going to get back to do my trip to Riga, so I ended up bailing. So this is actually the lesser of two evils because I know I can get back to the train station in time to get to the ferry, in time to get to my bus in Tallinn in order to get to Riga. So okay, I said okay, I'll do this. I'll do this venture. So that's why I'm here. And yeah, needless to say, it's been educational at the very least. I'm starting to be able to keep up with the Finns, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
No, that doesn't sound like good.
I can actually drink and not pass out in an hour like I was when I first got here.
You've gone from
So,
lightweight to middleweight.
well, you've been pretty busy with earthquakes and stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
had
am definitely up to middleweight. That's for sure.
you're up to middleweight, and I've had my earthquake. There was an earthquake in Mexico City last Saturday where I was sitting on my couch deciding whether to continue watching a really bad film I was watching. And at about midnight, I was thinking, will I go to bed or will I not? And then all of a sudden, there was a big jolt and shaking. And I thought, fuck, what's this? I had no idea what it was. The first experience of an earthquake. I ended up nearly falling off the couch, and then I realized it was an earthquake and kind of ran outside trembling like a little girl. Totally freaked out. But apparently, I talked to all the Mexicans, and they were saying, we don't usually get this type of earthquake. It was one of the earthquakes that goes up and down rather than around and around. and it was a combination because it started with a big jump and a big sideways sort of movement, and then the kind of seasick sort of movement. At this stage, I couldn't get out of the house quick enough, and I didn't know what to do. I just stood outside with the neighbors, and they're all going, "Ah, it's terrible," and I just sat there like totally freaked. I've been in shock for the last week.
Well,
Shock.
I know, and you were saying that you were without like um, connectivity for a few days, and
No,
yeah.
it's just that no, the power went. The
Oh,
worst
the
thing was
power, the power, yeah.
when it jumped, when the house lifted, literally, the power went all of a sudden. So I was out of power. I was out of power. I didn't have my glasses, so I couldn't see anything. I couldn't have my glasses, so I couldn't find candles. Didn't have any power, so I couldn't call my wife. I didn't have any battery in my mobile phone, so I couldn't call her. And like, I was just totally freaked out. I ended up walking around the streets, and everybody was sitting on the streets just drinking. Everybody was sitting drinking, like fucking.
Oh, what else is there to do?
What else is there to do? That's what I thought. But I just went for a walk, and I ended up calling her and saying, "So what's going on? Are you okay? I'm worried. Like I didn't know what was going on." She said, "Yeah, yeah, the mariachis have just come. Like the band of mariachis just come to the party. There's no problem." Everybody was like,
Were they the emergency earthquake mariachi squad or
"Yeah,
something?
yeah."
And,
They all arrive at certain times after earthquakes. They look for parties
jeez,
to
it's
crash.
insane.
Yeah, pretty mad. It just made me think, fuck, I'm living in an earthquake zone, and I'm living in an area of Mexico City which was once a lake. So the ground isn't very hard either, so you feel it more here. Everybody who
Wow.
was telling me was saying that it was, yeah, it was very similar to 85, very similar to 85, and 85 was the
That
big
was a
one.
pretty nasty one,
That
yeah.
was the one that killed 15, 16,000 people, and
Yeah,
buildings collapsed,
I remember it.
and all the buildings that collapsed were in the area I live in because of the fact the ground isn't. I don't think it's bedrock. It's sort of like a kind of a fuck. I don't know. In terms of geology, I don't know what type of earth it is, but it's soft.
Well, you should research it so we
Yeah,
can
I
discuss it on
should
the next
really.
recap.
I'm researching what am I doing here. Going, oh fuck, they have earthquakes as
Jeez,
well.
I'm telling you, man. Who knew? Well, you did
Who
know.
next
You
got
did
earthquake?
know. I mean, it wasn't a huge surprise. It was like me moving to LA, and I
Yeah,
knew there were earthquakes.
dude,
Sure
Mexico's
enough, there
earthquakes
were earthquakes.
every day. Like I wasn't here last year. There was one of about 7.4 on the Richter scale, but it wasn't one of these up and down ones. It was the circular ones.
Right, right, right.
And I wasn't in the city, so I just figured, right, whenever I'm not here, there's going to be an earthquake. But yeah, Saturday night proved me wrong, and that's basically been the. It's been great because it's given my classes a lot of material. I just walk into my English class and go, "Oh, did you feel the earthquake?" And then the class goes by. So that was fairly handy. So yeah, earthquake wise is my first
I think
cause
just
for
go off on a
cherry.
nice conversation. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Hmm.
Well, I know you've been out of the.
So
I know
you're
you've
going
been a little
to
bit out of circulation with the blog because of your natural disasters and other excuses.
yeah, my
About what?
life. That's the natural disaster. My life. My self-created natural
Well,
disaster. No, it's
you were saying something. You dropped out for a minute.
just my own natural disaster, my self-imposed natural disaster of working and studying at the same time.
Hmm.
Means I don't get a chance to see the fucking blog, so I don't know what's going on. So fill us in, Tony.
Well, I mean, it's been the conversations have been insane. We've been having really powerful, insane dialogues. I mean, and really, the I've been throwing stuff up that were just kind of striking a nerve with me. We've been having a lot of crazy political stuff happening in the states, so a
Uh-huh.
lot of it had to do with that. A lot of it had to do with, the fact that the religious right is still trying to lobby their position
Mhm.
in all kinds of weird ways. And we still get those apologetics. We still get those people who think that they can have it both ways. That you can be this, latent non-believer, be this vocal atheist, whatever you want to call it, whatever degree you are on that scale, and still give what these people are doing, still give them a pass, you know. And I've been calling a lot of people on this stuff, and we had a couple of guys. I mean, it runs the gamut. It runs the gamut between the politics of it to the philosophy of it and everything in between. So I've just I gotta say I've been quite the asshole the last couple of weeks because I'm just finding myself having a very low tolerance for you know it goes beyond what we were going through with the gun lovers with now it seems like we get the people who just feel like they can only state their case and they're not willing to discuss or debate why they feel the way they do, and they want everyone to agree with them anyways. And I just posted a meme a few days ago, and it was this outrageous picture of this rich, gray-haired, bearded Anglo fuck standing on top of a lion he just shot. I mean, it's a male lion and just laying dead on the ground, and he's there holding his rifle and stuff. And there's a quote from William Shakespeare saying, "Hell is empty, and all the devils are here," right? And I posted it because I still can't believe that in this day and age, there's still these idiots who will pay whatever money they pay just to kill a fucking lion or a rhino or any animal out there in the Serengeti or wherever the hell they are that really doesn't need to be shot. It's a blood sport. It's trophy hunting. And this one guy comes on and starts giving this ridiculous lecture about, oh, the lion was old, and in that condition, the guy probably spared him a long, painful death, and the lionesses would have stopped feeding him. And I mean, it's just like, what, are you fucking kidding me? It was a trophy hunt. And I engaged him, and I even posted an article that was just posted on Spiegel, which is a German magazine,
Spiegel, huh?
explaining how the lion's habitat is being, just literally lacerated, and poaching and trophy hunting is cutting down on the population. So I called him on it, and he didn't answer. He just went on this ridiculous diatribe, calling me all kinds of stupid names, and I was like, no, fuck this. I just deleted him. And then at the end of the whole process, I said, listen, I engaged you in a discussion. You didn't answer me. You didn't respond to the points that I raised. You lose your privileges. That's it. We're not going to sit here, and I'm not going to sit here and let you blather at me rather than state your case. And he tried so hard. Oh, you apologize to me, and I'll post my links. I'm going to apologize to you? What am I going to apologize to you for?
And this is after you'd banned him? He
I didn't ban him. I didn't ban him. I was just deleting his posts. I was just deleting his repetitive answers, trying to make him understand that until he says something with any kind of substance, it's not going to stay on.
Or at least to respond to any questions. I mean, whether somebody's answer has substance or not, I mean, everyone else can decide. But if you're not going to respond to any questions, it's not really a debate. Then it's not really the point, is it?
Exactly. And I don't understand why people feel that they can just Babylon, Babylon. I mean, it's not a forum. We're a page. We're a blog. It's not a forum. I mean, we do want people to share and discuss.
Hmm.
Obviously, we want that, but only if they're making any kind of a substantial argument. This is. I've also started losing my patience with people, even on the atheist side. We had this one guy. Remember that one guy, Sean, and then he was posting all kinds of ridiculous drivel a couple of months ago. He was just going off on these ridiculous mystical. Oh, and science is not quite there yet, and they can't explain the paranormal. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Just shut up. And he went off on a tangent. And this is a guy who claims to say he's an atheist or something like that, but he's a mystical atheist. What the hell is that? What is a mystical atheist?
I get lost with the names they give themselves.
And he was just literally, I think he was smoking something that just had his brain on diarrhea mode, because he was just spilling stuff all over the page, and I just finally just had to say, listen, Sean, you need to shut up. You need to just stop. Okay,
So do
you
we
just need
need
to
to?
stop.
Are we in the mood to establish codes of conduct or rules of engagement? That's what it sounds.
Well, I understand why other admins do. I understand
Like.
why foreign moderators do.
Mhm.
I get it. And, look, we're both busy. I mean, you're busier than me, granted. At least at least where you can't be online. I'm working online, so it's a little bit easier for me. But I'm
Yeah.
busy too. I'm not going to spend, you know, 5 hours collectively going back and forth with somebody who just doesn't know when to shut up.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do it. And again, I'm all for interesting discussions and I'm all for interesting debate. And I like to see that happening among people where like where we're not even involved. I like to see that, and we do get a lot of that, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
But there's got to be an endpoint. There has to be an endpoint, and that's one thing that's really becoming more and more defined for me is that endpoint. I'm starting to see the endpoint more and more where it's just got to stop. The conversation's got to end, and this is where I think maybe what I said earlier that I'm coming off more a little more as an asshole
Mhm.
is because I'm just less tolerant of people just being droning and repetitive and not saying anything. I mean, if you're saying something of substance, I'll listen to you all day long, and we do have people doing that. Thank God. I mean,
Yes,
it's just,
great. Thank him.
yeah, but it just doesn't happen often enough where no, it does happen often enough on the sense that the discussion stays lively, which is good. But we still get the. I mean, Ian, I have banned people because they just didn't know when to stop. Remember Horace? Remember him?
Yeah. Is he
How
gone?
much better is the page without him? How much better is the page without him blathering
Oh, this is
and
news. Did you
discussing
did you ban
nonsense?
Is Horace gone?
He's gone. I banned him weeks ago. I banned
Oh,
him weeks ago.
totally missed that. I can't believe I missed that. No, this
Oh
guy,
yeah, yeah.
he had the most. Well, it wasn't even drivel or anything. It was just really boring. It was very
They were
grey, non-emotional, just nothing in the no nothing
non-emotional, non-sequential,
consequential. I don't know
and
what.
he
And
never
every
followed through.
well, every single thing he posted on every single thing, he just leave a little comment that was annoying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The thing is that look, we have now there's over 6,000 people who probably get links or updates every day. So there's bound to be a percentage of them that we're not going to agree on or enjoy. So I mean, it's part of the thing, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, I agree, and I think that part of our job is to keep the level of the discussion up to some level that doesn't irk other people and encourages them to stay engaged. I mean, that is one of the things I have got to say. The people who do stay engaged, they've been engaged for the last several months. I mean, they've been. It's just we still have that awesome critical mass of people that are contributing. We can still get tons of guest timeline posts. We still get tons of submissions from the, via messages. So what I mean, you know what? I got asked for advice about a week and a half ago by a guy who's trying to set up his own page and his own blog. And he's a one-man show, and he's in Texas, and he doesn't know a lot of other atheists. And he came to me for advice. Do you know how flattering that was?
I like that. And what did you give him advice, or did you what did you say? Or
Yeah, sure. I gave him advice. I told him, hey, I said, look, first of all, nobody even paid attention to my blog for like the first year I had it,
yeah,
except for my friends and some random strangers. And my advice to you is just keep posting, just keep writing, and find ways to promote your blog and get more people involved. I mean, I gave him some good advice, but the thing is that was flattering to me, was that somebody thought that they could come to me about how to start their blog.
That's cool.
I mean, I was speechless.
Yeah. There actually is a lot of pages though starting, which is very interesting to me. Is that all the time I keep seeing these new pages, our page isn't really, I suppose, atheist, but there's a lot of atheist pages starting now. I don't know if that's a reaction, or I don't know. For me, it's something quite new, or something. Maybe it's not new. Maybe I'm just totally out of the loop. But I just see a lot of different pages and new ones constantly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm encouraged by that, because it at least gives other people a reason to become vocal and to become, find an outlet that they can be comfortable with. And so I think that's a good thing. My big complaint is that, and we've talked about this before, is that a lot of the pages, they just do the same thing. They aren't open to discussions that are provoking. Some of them are. I mean, I do like to go on to Dawkins' page. I do think I like We Fucking Love Atheism. I like Friendly Atheists. I like going to Pathos. And so I do get something out of those sites, obviously. But I think that a lot of it is just, it's just glad handing and catering to the masses. And I don't think that's what we ever wanted to be. Maybe that's why we piss off so many people.
Because you don't agree on where we're going or what we're doing. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? A lot of people. I mean, I think at one stage, I think maybe people come to the page to maybe get pissed off, because I think everyone has been pissed off at some stage by something we put up.
Well, it's true, and I think that a lot of times people come on the page knowing they're pissed off about something, but they haven't really been able to identify it.
And then they find it.
Find it. And they're like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the thing that's been pissing me off for the last several weeks. I get comments like that all the time. The big thing that's been happening lately are like these really weird batshit Pat Robertson quotes, And I posted one today. No, actually it was yesterday. And man, people just like, oh, that fucking asshole, he's still alive. But the fact that there's people in this day and age that still think like him, it should be enough to outrage anybody, really. Anyone with any kind of practical mindset should be pissed off by what these people are saying. And I've been a little bit more active on Twitter the last few weeks than I have been in a long time. And I'm getting a little bit more engaged on Twitter. And I'm getting into the dialogues that I see a lot of the stuff that's happening on our Facebook page on Twitter. But between people that aren't on a common platform other than Twitter, because people, like, we get these believers who hash, you know what I mean by hashing, right? The hashtag atheism, and we get these people who hash to atheism, but they're complete and total Jesus freaks. And that's one of the things that irks the crap out of me, is like, why are you hashing to atheism if you're a believer? What's the point? You're not making friends here. You're not scoring any points. You're not making an argument. I mean, even atheists don't do that. Atheists don't go hashing to, Jesus pages, at least not none that I know of. So why are they doing it the other way around? And their argument's always like, oh, well, it's our duty to spread the word of God, and it's our duty to get you to see the light, and da 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 da. And it's like, but we don't need you to tell us this. That's why we chose to be atheists. We chose to not believe. And I've been more engaged on that. And one of the things I've learned from Twitter is that when you hit a note, right, that resonates with a lot of other people, it sets off incredible discussions. So I'm trying to connect that with the Facebook page and the blog. I'm trying to create some kind of an intersection where people can easily jump from there over to our platform and take even further. That's the big challenge now for me, is because the discussions sometimes go on a little too parallel, and I want them to converge. I want to see more and more of these converge. So it's I don't know. Maybe there's a way to do it. Maybe now it's easier because Facebook now takes hashes. You can hashtag on Facebook. So I've started doing that. I've started implementing that on the site, and we'll see if that makes a big difference. Okay. But the fact is that there's this big critical mass of people on Twitter, and there's this big critical mass of people on Facebook, and there's a smaller critical mass on our blog, and they're all kind of splintered. And it would be really interesting to see if there was a way we can get them all to converge.
We can ask the viewers. Do you have any?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do that. I don't know if you've noticed, but I post a lot of retweets.
I've seen it.
I've been posting more retweets, and I've been doing that to get people to kind of, get an idea that we are on Twitter too, and that Twitter does have this very stimulated dialogue going on that may not cater to everybody who's comfortable with Facebook, but it should cater to at least some of them. I've never been a big Twitter fan. I'll say that right now, but I see the power in it. I understand the potential. So now that I'm getting to appreciate it. Go ahead.
It keeps people's comments brief. That's a nice thing too. Because sometimes the responses you get are particularly, I'm saying you get, because you respond and then go through it item by item. Generally take them at the knees, sort of thing, and then they come back. So I suppose Twitter lets it be brief and makes people more.
Well, and what it does also do is it lets you include your sources. You can throw in a link. You can throw in the YouTube video into the discussion, images, right? But one of the things, the way I respond to a lot of these diatribe posts, that's from my old school forum experience. That's how you respond on forums. When someone posts them, you quote the post into your forum response.
Yeah.
And then you respond item by item. I don't understand why more people don't do that, because it would give much more flow to the discussions, because you're answering each thing point by point. And that's it. I've been doing that for 20 years,
Okay. Yeah, well, maybe I just don't know. I don't know. I wanted to ask you briefly. You are missing unbelievable scenes in Brazil at the moment. Are you?
Yes, I know.
I mean, it's going off there. Like, Turkey was something else, but Brazil, there's 1 million people on the streets yesterday.
Yep. And I'll tell you,
You could be doing the
it,
hangout there.
my relatives, I've actually chatted with a few of my relatives, like my sister, and they're all kind of nervous. They're all kind of they're not going out. A lot of them aren't going to work. Transportation is at a standstill, which was always a problem for me.
That's
It
quite
was
normal, though,
very
isn't it?
difficult for me to get around Rio under normal conditions. Can you
Yeah.
imagine what it's like now?
No,
Can you imagine what it's like to
it's
get around Sao Paulo?
that's gridlock now.
Yeah, that's a powder keg, and I'll be real honest with you. I saw it coming when you gauge the discontent that people have with the way the government's handling the World Cup, the way they're handling preparations for the Olympics, is because they're not really placing the priorities where they need to be.
No,
They leveled entire slums in Rio,
did they?
just literally
Just
bulldozed them,
yeah.
and told people, okay, you guys got to find another place to live
Hmm.
because to make room for parking, to make room for facilities
Yeah.
that they're going to need for the Olympics, that they're going to need for the World Cup,
Hmm.
and they're still dreadfully behind. They're way behind. So
Yeah.
that's the other frustration is that nothing's ready, nothing's done, and
They
I mean,
barely
the World Cup's next year.
Well, they barely had the Maracanã ready for the Confederations Cup, which is on now. But what I thought was quite funny in terms of the two incidents that have happened. The Spanish team were staying in Recife. They got robbed.
Hmm.
That was funny. And the other thing is that
I read about that yesterday.
Pele is getting absolutely screwed on all the social networks because he came out and said, "Well, I hope this confusion can stop." And then he totally backtracked and said, "No, I'm totally with the protesters." So their national idol's getting absolutely vilified. It's
Yeah,
really what's
yeah.
going on down there. I don't know what's going to happen, really.
I will say this. I'm glad I'm not there right now.
Yeah. Well,
I
we
will
hear
say
the
that. I
figures,
mean,
like hundreds of thousands of people. It's not just a little protest. I don't know what's going to
yeah.
happen.
And I think if I were at a different stage in my experience with Latin America, it would have been an exciting, interesting thing to see because it is kind of a mini revolution. But um, I just, I'm just so burnt out on this mentality that exists between the haves and the have-nots in those cultures, and I hope it gets better. I mean, I hope that they figure out a way to quell the masses and get things back on track because Brazil has a very healthy economy, but just for the wrong reasons, and the wrong people are benefiting, and that's the big problem. So,
Mhm. Like all over the place. It's like
now
here.
we'll just have to wait and see.
Mhm. I just want to introduce my. This is
No,
uh
is
this
that
is the new this is the new
that's the
edition.
new cat
This is the new cat. This is Brick. I don't know if you remember the character
Oh,
from
the one that from where?
Anchorman. It was Steve Carell's character. His name was Brick. He
And
was this
Anchorman 2's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, and I saw an ad for it, and I just said, look, I'm gonna call her Brick because she's really not bright. I'll just let me tell you, but still, I wanted to show her.
It's very apropos.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Have we? What else we have to cover? I think we covered enough for this one. What do you think?
yeah, I think we're good. Funnily enough, I have a new student who is a devout Christian,
Oh
and
boy.
um, she prays every morning. She goes to Bible studies on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm not going to talk too much. Just about is that life brings you these things. I mean, she's a good student. She's paying on time and all
Does
that
she know
stuff.
you're a heathen?
Yeah, I told her. I said at the first class, I said, and I don't know what I am, but I don't believe in anything you believe in. And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I want to help running this." Oh, that she's quite interested, but at the same time, she has these views that are I mean, I accept them, I accept her views and everything. She's not trying to shove them down my throat, but it's just the mind warp that's gone on, particularly in Mexico, what I see with her and how it's affected everything here. It's just I see it every day, Tony. This I live it every day. That's the
Well,
fact.
I'm wondering if there's like some material that can come out of this in terms of like when you're talking to somebody and the direction the conversation goes. And I'm curious, is it similar to the discussions and the arguments we get on the page, or are they entirely different discussions? I mean,
It's
that's my question.
no, it's the same stuff. I mean, you're standing in two totally different positions. Like I'm looking at her thinking, okay, she's intelligent, she's got a good job. Yet on the other side, these I don't know, Stone Age beliefs basically. They're just dictating how she lives her life and dictates what she does. And no, I get up every morning. She gets up every morning at 6 a.m., reads the Bible and prays for the day. And I'm thinking,
Amazing.
oh right, okay. I have no idea what to say when she says this stuff. I don't like, cause I'm not there to go, oh, you're fucking, because it's work. You know what I mean? I'm not going to but we do get into interesting debates. It hasn't got to a point where we're at loggerheads really, but I'd say it's coming.
But it will.
It definitely will, and
It
I'll
will.
fill you in when it happens. When it happens, but so far we're maintaining the peace, which is a positive sign.
Okay. Well, keep us posted on developments. I suspect this will be an interesting story.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Well, I guess I should go back to my midsummer imbibing and
Go for another
see just
dip,
how
another
much
drink.
more wasted everybody is.
Uh-huh.
So we'll sign off for now. Any final thoughts, Ian? You have the
No.
last word.
Have a good time in Riga and enjoy solstice. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, sounds good. And thanks everybody for watching, if anybody's watching. And I'll be getting this posted up shortly after, probably later tonight. And we'll see you guys on the blog. We'll see you on the page. Be sure to leave comments and keep the discussions interesting. It's what keeps us going. And on behalf of Ian and Brick and myself, we'll see you guys out there.
See you
And
later.
have a happy Johannes. That's midsummer in Finnish.
Ah, very impressive.
Okay, yes, I'm getting there. And we'll see you guys out there. And I'm ending broadcast now.